The future of the GX program by the Prime Minister's office in the United Arab Emirates is strong. It's something that's tangible. It's something that can be developed and adopted by every government service program in the world. But it needs work. It needs work because implementation of these things is complex. You need to get the buy-in from people who run governments. And those are some of the challenges that other governments might face when adopting this program. In order to make the world a better place, we will have to play the game in a different way.
This is an amazing time. There is so much potential, and we need two things. We need, number one, to listen, and number two, to act. And when you put those two things together, it makes a huge difference. There is power in just asking for feedback. When you engage the public, they become more excited. 5 years, 10 years from now, I think we're going to have a much higher level of trust in government, because with all of these new ways of engaging the public, there are untapped ideas and resources and potential for making government far better than it's ever been.
We have taken most of our services online already, but now it's the matter of actually measuring the quality of these services. How do they function? What could be improved? What's the journey behind it? You can do most of the stuff online, but we still have lots of relic in the process. In Estonia, when we opened up our services to non-citizens using e-residency, that means that we might have some Estonian documents from time to time pop up to the foreigners in our systems. That's something that needs to be worked on. We're working towards the perception of having these seamless background services. Once you are born, we already know your name, we know your birth date, we know quite a lot of things about you. Same for medicine, for example. We're looking at some of the ways where we can predict what illnesses you might have or what's genetic about you and the like.
We've been very pragmatic in a sense to say that, look, let's figure out how to solve this. Organizationally, legally, have proper safeguards in place, technologically as well. So this sort of approach to fixing problems and sort of solving them in a sort of very engineer way, even through design, is one part of it. And the other part, we have benefited from the fact that obviously we are a small country in that sense. And the size doesn't matter really for the point of view how many people there live, but just I would say that as a small country, we have very lean governance in terms of how decisions are made. And I think if oftentimes countries are asking, okay, so what makes Estonia a bit more nimble? Because decision making is faster and not too many levels of government to consult and so forth. So that's what has allowed us to go quite a bit way. And I've seen in bigger countries too, if somehow decision making gets streamlined, of course in democratic context, then you're able to make leaps because tech moves fast. You have to be able to move fast along as well.
Planning to implement personalized services for our citizens from any country, from any place, and without any barrier, and to be accessible and available. For that we need also to implement new technologies, AI, machine learning, deep learning and other technologies. Now we are implementing shared cloud-based document flow system, and it helps us to reduce the cost for building that services and to optimize that processes.
A lot of services will be global services, and then on top of that or beside that you will have a local flavor. But what I see, for example, with the blockchain projects, the registration of diplomas, now it's done by countries by themselves. I expect this will be a global service. We bring people from all these coalitions and all these communities together to work on these challenges, which are mainly global challenges. At this moment, the first step to bring these experts together, they need each other. For example, the blockchain experts, they need more and more data, and so they need the experts from the big data working group, but also the data experts from the artificial intelligence working group. So the next step is to build broader collaborations worldwide, and I hope the Netherlands can be the gateway to Europe for many services.
The governments of the future are going to be focused more on purpose and less on services. Artificial intelligence, machine learning is going to take care of most of the services being delivered. We're going to be focusing more on thinking about our future, on how we can magnify life. The governments will have much more time, capabilities, and much higher quotient when it gets to livability, when it gets to the future of government is going to be about. We are all going to be augmented in our capabilities as human beings. We're going to be able to do more for less, but also we're going to be able to actually focus on where we actually make the biggest difference and drive the biggest impact, not in terms of the small things that happen around us, in terms of enriching life on Earth and how we can actually be a continuous agent of change and progress.
The future of government services should be something that happens without the customer asking for it. We know what the customers want. Why not deliver it to them? Why not go to the customer instead of having the customer come to us? We want to relate it more to the digital experience that customers today have with online shopping, where they get recommendations on what to buy based on their previous searches, on the time of the year. We want to be something similar to that and maybe even more proactive. We are aware that the way education is going to be delivered is going to change. We are aware that healthcare is going to change. All of these services need to be integrated in a way and in a manner that makes it seamless to the customer, seamless to the investor of the future.
This sort of tension that exists between communities and governments, because communities have great expectations and governments try hard, but they struggle to meet those expectations. In a digital world, you can deliver more consistently and getting access to information and data when they need it, creating more of a seamless channel between when the data is created by government or collected by government and the desire to be able to access that simply because we want to know what government's collecting on us, but also to be able to make better decisions and to develop solutions. When enlightened, progressive governments are able to easily connect with enlightened, active citizens, because that's a potent force. You bring those two things together and we can do some really amazing things.